Edward Danko. Lady Munoz.
You gotta get in the picture.
Alicia Williamson. Matthew Worley. Thank you, folks. We're going to take a little time of transition. We'll move to the rest of our meeting in just a little while.
Without the presentation, the whole thing crashed. Oh, thank God he's on the agenda. Of course, there's gonna be questions. Can't even get it up on your screens here. So, I said we can take action, but we can't get anything on the screen.
Okay.
Handouts. Well, there's copies in your information in your packet. We just can't show the public.
Open public.
We can, we can't put it on the
Oh,
screen.
oh, oh,
Yeah,
oh,
we
oh,
can.
oh,
I just have no
oh.
way of doing it publicly.
Yeah.
Y'all can make a determination on what it looks like.
Yeah.
Copies, and then we can do that last if you want, but we can go through the old business and copies.
Okay, let's just do that. We'll move to, we'll go down here and then I'll just wait till we see her coming back in.
Go make copies.
There's a couple more for some
Yeah, we can,
easier stuff.
yeah, I'll wait on her to get back.
Planning stuff. Yeah,
So just one.
yeah, just your part, yeah.
And then you go.
Seven. Well, I'll just steal one.
Mr. Mayor, we are obviously having some technical difficulties, but it looks like the only thing that will be adversely affected from the agenda perspective will be new business one. However, Robin is going to make some copies for you. Everything else I believe is covered in your packets, all the rest of the agenda items. So what I would recommend is let's just wait on Robin's presentation to the end of the meeting or the last item of new business. And I think beyond that, we can, at your discretion, move forward, sir.
Thank you, sir. This may involve some visuals of other parts of the meeting tonight. I'm sorry we're not going to have those just for general recognition, but we can get together with you on that at a later date. Council will have the information, and so I anticipate that we'll make a decision this evening and give you as much information as we can. So moving forward with departmental reports, those should be contained in your packet. Department heads and/or Mr. Merriman will be glad to assist you on that. We have our financial activity report this evening from Mr. Klein. The floor is yours, sir.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Financial performance summary as of December 2025. Starting in the general fund, we had a cash balance of $3,926,000. Year-to-date revenues of $10,721,000. Year-to-date expenditures of $26,302,000, and we were 2% under budget. We had a favorable revenue benchmark variance of $432,000, an unfavorable expenditure benchmark variance of $826,000, and an overall unfavorable benchmark variance of $393,000. Moving to hospitality fund, we had a cash balance of $3,588,000. Year-to-date revenues of $2,007,000. Year-to-date expenditures of $685,000. Moving to stormwater fund, we had a cash balance of $3,818,000. Year-to-date revenues of $489,000. And year-to-date expenditures of $243,000. With that, I'd be happy to stand for any questions.
Thank you, sir. Council?
Still at that 2%.
Yes, sir. For this month in December, we were about 7% under, so it brings us to about 3% year-to-date now, under.
Under revenue on the hospitality.
Yes, sir.
Others?
Is based on Airwood's comments, we're 7 months into our fiscal year. At any point, should we get alarmed on some of those numbers for hospitality?
Absolutely. So we should see increase back here in spring when it gets a little warmer. I will say that's based off our budget. However, if you compare to actuals this year compared to last year, we are outpacing last year's numbers. So we are doing better actuals this year than we were last year in FY25.
Thank you, sir. We
Thank you.
appreciate it. Mr. Merriman, your report, please, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Council. The City of Greer's Juried Arts Exhibition takes place every spring and is open to student artists and professional artists. The theme for the 2026 Juried Art Show is 150 Years in Greer. The award ceremony and reception will be held on Tuesday, the 10th of February from 6 to 8 at the Center for the Arts, and the winning entries will be on display through the month of March. Also want to congratulate Mr. Lander and Mr. Lamb for beginning the Municipal Elected Officials Institute with the Municipal Association of South Carolina. As we were talking before the meeting, the City of Greer's elected officials are batting 1,000 on the municipal elected official completing the MEAO. So thank you very much for attending that and participating. Also want to recognize Chris and his team for the work they did completing the audit. Prior to this meeting, we had the workshop where the annual audit was presented, and we were given an unmodified opinion, which is the highest audit opinion you can have. So well done to Chris and his team for the work that it takes to put together, along with our independent auditors, an audit statement. So thank you very much. And the last thing, of course, I'd be remiss in not, just as the mayor said earlier, congratulating and thanking thanking not only our public services team for the work that they've done, but our public safety teams as well over in response to the storm. I will say, thankfully, we didn't get the brunt of what we had thought was going to come, but it doesn't matter. I think we were prepared for anything that comes. So well done to public services and to public safety. And I also want to congratulate CPW. Also, we had no outages reported by CPW, and I do think that that was indicative of their being prepared for instances like this. So I think from a partnership standpoint, I would be remiss in not congratulating them. Mr. Mayor, that concludes my report.
Thank you, sir. Council, let's move to the appointment of the City of Greer Municipal Judge. Judge Henry Hank Mims' term expires June 30th, 2026. We have known that announcement was coming for several years now, and Hank Mims can not be replaced in terms of his personality and decorum in his courtroom. And we will sorely miss him, but wish him much success in his impending retirement. He's probably going to have to get a new tractor because that one he's working with right now is probably not going to hold up to him using it every day. So I hope that he's got that in his plans to get something that he can ride around on about every day, because I suspect that's what he's going to be doing a lot of. Nevertheless, we need to find somebody to fill his shoes, so to speak, and that job has fallen to a committee of folks that city employees and other municipal judges and those that are involved in that system. We have done a thorough search, having a little trouble this evening, and I think we have found a replacement. And if that nomination wants to be entered, council will take an action.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to nominate Mr. Isaac Johnson Jr. for the position of municipal judge.
That comes with a recommendation, and I believe you have his resume. If there are questions, floor is open.
I will add that he served as our assistant municipal judge for the past 10 years, and he's very well respected in the community and I believe he'll do a great job.
Thank you, sir.
That was going to be my question. I was going to ask if he worked with judge members already, so.
Others?
Mr. Zant.
That comes as a recommendation. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, Ms. Duncan?
Mr. Arrowood,
Yes.
Mr. Booker,
Yes.
Mr. Hopper,
Yes.
Mr. Lander,
Yes.
Mr. Bettis,
Yes.
Mr. Lamb,
Yes.
Mayor Danner.
Yes. Council, let's move to items of old business. The first of this evening is the second and final reading of ordinance number 1-2026. This is an ordinance authorizing the extension of a lease of a certain property in the City of Greer between the City of Greer and Snow Street Holdings LLC. Any new or additional information in that regard?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor. There have been no changes to the project since first reading and no comments or questions received from the community.
Thank you. This comes as a second reading. I believe it came with a recommendation from staff in the first meeting. I'll entertain a motion to receive.
So moved.
And a second.
Second.
Second. With that, floor is open for discussion, questions, or comments. Hearing none, Ms. Duncan?
Mr. Arrowood,
Yes.
Mr. Booker,
Yes.
Mr. Hopper,
Yes.
Mr. Lander,
Yes.
Mr. Bettis,
Yes.
Mr. Lamb,
Yes.
Mayor Danner.
Yes. Second item before us this evening is the second and final reading of ordinance number 2-2026. This is an ordinance authorizing the conveyance of any and all interest in certain real property in the City of Greer. This comes to second reading. Any new or additional information in regards to ordinance number 2-2026?
Good evening again, Mr. Mayor. There have been no changes to the project and no comments or questions received from the community on this.
Comes with a recommendation. I'll entertain a motion to receive.
So moved.
And a second. Second. Floor is open for discussion, questions, or comments. Hearing none. Ms. Duncan?
Mr. Arrowood,
Yes.
Mr. Booker,
Yes.
Mr. Hopper,
Yes.
Mr. Lander,
Yes.
Mr. Bettis,
Yes.
Mr. Lamb,
Yes.
Mayor Danner.
Yes. Council, the third item before you this evening is the second and final reading of ordinance number 3-2026. This is an ordinance to change the zoning classification of a certain property owned by LB Premier LLC located on Cary Avenue from suburban neighborhood SN to traditional neighborhood TN. Came before us at our last meeting. Any new or additional information in regards to the second reading of ordinance 3-2026?
Good evening again, Mr. Mayor. No, there have been no changes since first reading.
Council, there was discussion around this item last time, came with a recommendation for approval. I'll entertain a motion to receive.
So moved.
Second.
And a second. Floor is open for discussion, questions, or comments.
I mentioned this at our last meeting, and I think I also asked this question. I just want to make sure I'm clear. They're going to subdivide that property for 2 lots. And are they required, does that meet a threshold of having to do sidewalks?
That is correct. They do not have to install sidewalks on these two. The intent is to subdivide the lots and construct 2 single-family homes.
It would really help that street because it's a one-way street and it's not much. If the city could go in and just, maybe our engineers look at it, see if there's any way to improve that street any with sidewalk or any kind of improvement would be a help.
Is there any on there now?
No,
Okay.
It's a one-way, right?
it's a one-way run. The one-way runs from South Main over to Pelham.
As a note, let's take a look at that and see if there's anything we can do to help that situation. Others? We have a motion and a second. Further discussion? Hearing none, Ms. Duncan?
Mr. Arrowood,
Yes.
Mr. Booker,
Yes.
Mr. Hopper,
Yes.
Mr. Lander,
Yes.
Mr. Bettis,
Yes.
Mr. Lamb,
Yes.
Mayor Danner.
Yes. Thank you, sir. Items of new business. You ready to go? Good. Ms. Bayou joins us. We thought we were going to move her around in our lineup tonight, but looks like with a little help from a friend, we're ready to go this evening. Robin Bayou joins us this evening, our cultural arts supervisor, to engage in a conversation about the City of Greer 150 art display. Staff is requesting City Council choose one of 2 public art options, which were finalized by an internal staff committee as part of the Greer 150 branding for display in the downtown historic district. This will require action by council. This was one of the items that we would have brought through the screen this evening, but now that it is not available, it's a handout. We will make this available for the public at some point in time, as soon as we can, so that they can see what we are this evening. But for the purpose of discussion, we're going to move forward. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and Council. This is our 150th year, and staff would like to continue the Greer 150 branding throughout the city. Pole banners and merchandise have been created, and now for greater impact, we'd like to add a large piece of art displayed on the side of a building. Logo branding and public art intersect to transform physical spaces into storytelling environments. Municipalities can use large-scale art to communicate far more effectively than a traditional signage alone. Artification of a city logo drives tourism, economic improvement, and social media based on a 2023 study published in Annals of Tourism Research. When a logo is artified, it's no longer just a sign, it becomes a cultural token or an attraction itself. Artified logos are more than effective at communicating a destination's unique DNA or their history. So staff is asking that you make a choice between the two public art options provided for you. The first concept is a photograph chosen from the Greer Heritage Museum. It is watermarked, and it is more of a realistic illustration with the logo on top of it. The second option, V3, is the same artwork, just shown in high contrast, and we added a mountain range representing the Blue Ridge Mountains.
This is supposed to be looking down Trade Street.
Yes,
Mountains are on the wrong side.
yes. It's artistic
Maybe we can
license.
move them.
No.
Any questions?
Well, I'm sure there will be, so just hold tight.
Okay.
For the purpose of discussion, let's go ahead and make this official. Do I have a motion to proceed?
So moved.
And a second. Okay, floor is open for discussion now. Questions, comments, anything at this point that would be prudent or helpful for making a decision in regards to this artwork that we've been presented with?
Well, I would like to state for the record that I've been married since 1998, and I have never been allowed to pick art, picture, color. So this was first.
Congratulations.
Your taste is in your mouth. Oh, your taste is in your mouth.
Yeah.
Now, with the art that we're looking at, how long do they tend to last before do they fade away, or they stick around for a few years?
So interestingly, this artist, Adam with Blank Canvas, he uses a product that it has minerals in it. It's not a paint. It actually has a mineral silicate in it that goes into the brick, so it will last a long time.
But do the colors hold? I mean,
He says they do. You can see there's a couple examples of his work in the back. There's two pieces from Greer and one from Greenville.
Interestingly enough, there was a court case that was settled recently where a city had a mural touched up by someone else, and the original artist claimed copyrights on it, and it held up in court. So if it fades, we need to get our original artist back to.
Yeah.
to
well, I
do
mean,
it.
is this it's going to be copyrighted by him, or has it become our property?
I think we're just in the preliminary stages here.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because there's a couple things I wanted to point out. One, we are asking council, obviously, to choose between one of these two concepts. The second thing is the representation of the location on that building is not indicative of necessarily where it will be. We are looking at a couple different options on where if approved by council, where that mural will be placed downtown. So that also will change the size of the art. And then to Mr. Airwood's point, yes, there will have to be some contractual matters that will need to be worked out between the city and the artist.
Yeah, I mean, I think if we're buying it, it's ours. So whatever you
Duly
need to
noted.
do there.
Yes, sir.
So this, the building that is represented on, that's the chamber building?
Yes, sir.
But it's not necessarily going to be there.
No,
Not
sir.
necessarily going to be there.
Well, if it is, that building, that faces south, and it will take a lot of beating from the sun.
do we have how we'll decide through these locations, or is there a criteria, or people volunteer their facade, or?
That's part of it, is we got to have a willing partner. So finding that willing partner is going to be something that we're going to continue to work through.
Okay, so is this true? Option 2 gives you much greater flexibility of where you put it.
I think any of the artwork can be reformatted to fit any size. It's the same photo in both images. One is just has the round logo over the top.
Yes, I think I can see that.
So the photo on the top one is just going to be kind of a sepia type image, or will it be color also?
V2 concept?
V2.
Yeah, me too.
That will be red, just like you see it with a blue over the top with the new 150 logo.
Well, I prefer that one because of the prominence of the logo.
Yeah. And I'm not sure how well this is going to age.
Yeah, and I don't like the geography where they put it,
Yeah.
Like mountains do.
not where they are. That's
That's
sacrilege.
That's what it looks like.
It looks
Yeah,
like
yeah,
any
yeah,
Warhol.
Well, that actually
Campbell soup can should be said.
is where they are. You just can't see them from downtown.
Who generated the concepts? Was it the artist or was that
It was
us?
the artist. We gave
Okay.
him our 150 branding guide and our architectural review committee guidelines, and he used those colors.
I mean, he's a professional here. Which one did he prefer?
Which one do I prefer?
Yeah, you or him?
So do I use reverse psychology? I prefer V3. I think it's much more interesting and eye-catching. I think it makes a statement about our downtown and the history and how it's changed. I think if you could walk up to it, you could say, wow, it's kind of the same, but it's really different.
So I brought up a similar, during our Friday retreat that we had a couple weeks ago, was a lot of people were interested in seeing like a welcome to Greer, I guess where the old tire shop used to be. And I'm guessing that's probably one of your possible locations, which would be nice. Welcome to the city, kind of right there at the intersection of 14 and Points.
And that's never going to be built on, so it'll last a long time.
Yeah.
So are we literally having to decide between these two, or?
That is what we are asking council to do. And to give you to give you a little more color, I think originally there were maybe 6 options, I think, if I'm recalling. And we put together kind of an internal staff committee that was made up of Robin, Lindsay, Reno, Alex, and Michelle. And we just had them kind of work through that. I think as much as I tried to shoehorn myself onto the committee, they said no. But they did whittle it down to 2 to help this council with some decision making. So again, this is the sesquicentennial kind of statement piece. It's really our first foray into public art as it pertains to the city, and we are trying to get some guidance from council out of those 2. If you find one that council can agree on, we will rock and roll.
Where's the cost on this?
The cost is going to be predicated on the size of the final piece of art. In this particular case, what you see, there's, I think, a $10,000 difference between version 1 and version 2. Don't hold me to that, but it's also, it's got to do with where, how big the actual final mural is going to be. I have identified a source of funds. We will pay for this out of fund balance in hospitality tax. So we have about a $2 million, $2.5 million fund balance in hospitality.
What other buildings are y'all looking at as potential partner? Or have you even considered that?
Excuse me, we've looked at a couple locations. I like the idea that someone just said earlier about, who said, I don't remember who said.
The side of Great Bay.
Yeah, yes. Oh, the side of Great Bay. Well, they might build something on that, so I would suggest a different location. The side of the barber shop next to CBL, Or perhaps as you're driving up Poinsett Street, across from the church, Grace Church, there's a flat wall, a gray wall there, and then on the other side, there's kind of a white, not deteriorating wall, but it goes down into the tables and the lights, and we're looking at all different locations and who's willing to let us do it.
I'll just say I agree with you, Ms. Bayuk, on the second one. The reason why I love our logo for Greer 150, but I think, for the enduring, 10, 20 years from now, I think number two, just more interesting, is it does more justice to, really commemorating, an older scene from our downtown that people can talk about, for years and years to come. And it still does have the Greer 150 up in the corner, so that people can remember, oh yeah, they commissioned that as part of the sesquicentennial. That's the first time I said the word publicly. I'm proud of myself. That's my preference, number two, for those reasons, just because I think that's more enduring. Number one, definitely, for this year, I get that, but from an enduring standpoint, it being something that we can celebrate for years to come, I think number two,
Thank you.
good choice.
So you're calling V2 the number one?
V3 would be my choice.
Right.
For that reason.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I would agree with Mr. Hopper. I like the concept of V3 because while I'm certainly proud of the work that's been done on the 150 logo, I'm just wondering how that ages in time while V3 seems to capture more of the essence of Trade Street and still entertains the 150 logo. So I think V3 would be my pick. Now, here's the dilemma we face, and I'll tell you how I think we should go about it, and if there's another way of determining this, we'll entertain that. But they've been presented to us as V2 and V3. If someone wants to nominate a V2, we will vote. If it gets a majority of votes, we won't have to vote again, but if it doesn't, then we will vote on V3. If it doesn't generate a majority, you're going to have to go back to the drawing table. So,
No pun intended.
no pun intended.
Mayor, I'll be glad to nominate V2, and I'll tell you why. I like V3, but I've seen many better photographs of vintage Greer than what they've selected here. That's my big drawback with it.
Yeah,
And I like them from the top of Trade, the ones that I've seen, and there's a great photo of Trade in Poinsett, but I would nominate V2.
I'll second that.
Any chance you have, you said there was, I'm sorry, you said there was 12 original? No chance you have them in your hand right now, right? No, okay.
Well, I think.
Let's start with two. We're going to start with two. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion as to what we're doing and how we're doing it?
Yeah, I mean, on the V3, if it's done exactly like it's printed here,
Greer 150 is a rumor in that picture.
Pretty much.
yeah. And I'm assuming that's the B.A. Bennett building on the left side, because we're looking down Trade, correct?
No, that's the leader building, I believe.
No, we're looking up Trade.
No, that's the Davenport, isn't it?
We're looking up Trade.
Yes,
Oh, yeah, it'd be the
that's
Davenport, yeah, looking up,
Yeah.
up, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we're looking.
So we can make minor tweaks and and change the artwork a little bit. We can get rid of the mountains at the top if you like.
No, that's, I thought, when I said we're looking down Trade, it's, yeah,
We can-
you are, if
we
you're
can
looking up,
change
the
the
mountains are
coloring a
there.
little bit.
Yeah, to your
And
point,
I think that, forgive me,
that's
but
geographically correct.
Yeah.
if the artwork takes up the entire wall, I believe the Greer 150 logo will stand out more. I think because you're looking at it as part of a wall, the logo doesn't make as much of an impact if the whole wall was filled with the artwork.
And if it goes there, it's kind of hidden though.
It is unlikely that it will go there, Mr. Arrowood.
No, he's talking about the logo, if it goes on that building.
I'm sorry, I thought you were talking about the artwork.
On V2. It's.
I meant the artwork itself being on that building. Is unlikely to be on the chamber building. I apologize. You're talking about the logo.
Some of the placement of the logo in the picture on V3.
No,
You're talking about putting it on
I
that
don't
wall,
think it'll be
period?
seen, period. I mean,
Yeah,
it's- that's
this
a-
is just a for instance.
It will not be on that building, sir.
So me personally, either one is fine. It's just where it's going to be is going to be the deciding factor for me. Of do you put it on? If I knew the location, then it'd be a lot easier. I mean, is there an option for us just to let y'all are approved to go to the next step, and then we find the building, come back and say it's going to be this one or that one?
One of the reasons we're asking council to go ahead and choose the art itself is because we would like to get this activated as quickly as possible, up to and including having the artwork done by March, which is the actual sesquicentennial date. So while timing isn't critical, being able to definitively bring to council that it will go on building X might present more of a challenge if we have another legislative step to go through. I think in this particular case, if y'all can agree on whatever version you would like, we then can move forward with the location.
I think the other thing we probably need to keep in mind is this is really the icebreaker. I mean, I think if whatever one we choose is embraced like I think that it will be, there will probably be others to either offer buildings or ask, certainly people will ask for more. So I think this is simply a way of getting us started. So we do have a motion on the floor at this point in time. Further discussion?
The side of the MIMS building would be a good improvement.
I don't know how to take that.
Well,
It would show off good there, too.
Why? Well, I'm going to assume that it would be painted on this building because that's what is there. And so that faces south. And, no matter what kind of paint somebody uses, it never holds up to the sunlight. So the V3 is, if it's going to be exposed to the sunlight, that's going to just deteriorate immediately. V2 is less of possible deterioration, but you don't, I guess my question is, why don't we make it a sign instead of on a building? Because in our UDO, we don't allow people to put their names on the side of a building.
What do you mean a sign? You're saying like a vinyl application or?
Yeah, a sign that, we put it up at the corner of wherever.
You mean like a banner?
Well, a big, whatever, but I have first of all, I do like V2. Secondly, I don't like the fact that we exclude it under our UDO and then we're doing it ourselves.
The UDO specifically does allow for council to put public civic art or a civic project like this. So we're not in violation of the UDO in any way, shape, or form by y'all's approval of this.
Well, maybe not, but I mean, it's maybe technically we're not, but as far as our thinking behind it, why it's passed in the UDO, to me, it's the same. But having said that, if we want to do historic things, get permission to redo the bonded warehouse sign that fronts Trade. Now, a lot of people would see that because you see that building every time you drive down Trade. And then have this maybe at the other end of Trade somewhere, but I don't know. It's like a birthday. We're going to celebrate it 1 year, and what was the estimated cost? 10 grand?
No, it just depends on where it goes. So,
But it could be.
it could be somewhere in the neighborhood of as high as $40,000, depending on the size.
Yeah, for a year. That, to me, that's not worth it. I mean,
Next year will be
But
151.
it's supposed to be very durable, so it will last much more than a year, and we're clearly not in violation of the UDO, so, you know.
I do see this very different than signage that way. And again, I love the logo. I do agree with you, you know, in that regard, Mr. Arrowwood. I just feel like for me, it's choosing between a logo, and there's nothing wrong with the logo, or an actual mural. And V3 is more of an actual mural picture for me. And that just feels like the spirit of what we'd be trying to go after.
With blue cars
Uh,
and blue people.
Final call, I'm going to call the question, our final call. Any further?
There's a lot of pavement in that picture, too.
Has a whole lot of pavement,
Yeah.
Ms. Duncan?
no power lines.
Mr. Arrowood,
We're voting for
For
V2.
V2, yes.
Mr. Booker,
Yes.
Mr. Hopper,
No.
Mr. Lander,
No.
Mr. Bettis,
Yes.
Mr. Lamb,
Yes.
Mayor Danner.
No. 4 yeses, we'll move on. B2.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bring a committee recommendation next time.
Yeah.
We can solve a $70 million budget quicker than we can resolve a sign. All right, let's move to traffic calming. We've got a traffic calming petition from the folks at Cunningham Drive and Vanderbilt Drive, a request for a variance to the required volume critical criteria for traffic calming petitions as outlined in the City of Greer traffic calming policy. The intent of this request is to help reduce the impact of the school traffic that has caused frustration and concerns by nearby residents. The variance would allow the petition to continue in the petition process if the petition is successful. Staff would recommend 2 speed humps on both Cunningham Drive and Vanderbilt Drive for a total of 4 speed humps. Mr. Buchanan, floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and good evening, council. Small clarification on the matter. We are actually requesting a variance on an existing petition that was submitted to us back in, I believe, April of '24. So as you may or may not know, the city has a traffic calming procedure, if you would, that allows residents to gather at least 5 signatures of their neighbors along a street. The street has to be owned by the city. In this case, it is both the Cunningham Drive and the Van Venter Drive. For those not familiar with all of our lovely streets in the city of Greer, this is in the rough area in between Pine Street and North Main. This is over near the Bonds Career Center, if you're more familiar with landmarks. As you can imagine, when it comes to living near schools and everything else, some of the school traffic can get a little crazy, especially, I believe, council's heard from residents not too long ago about this. When the engineering department receives one of the traffic calming petitions, we'll evaluate it, make sure it meets all the basic criteria. It's a residential street. It's owned by the city, such as. We put one of our traffic counters out there, get the volume, get the speeds. That is for a period of 7 days, 1 week. In this case, neither road met the volume criteria that is listed as the ADT criteria. That is average daily trips, I believe. In this case, Cunningham received 154 and Van Venter 85. The minimum criteria is 300. So at the time of the evaluation, neither street met the needed requirements in order to proceed with the petition. What we are asking tonight is basically for council to allow a variance of that volume criteria. As you can see, what we consider is basically the nominal speed, which is listed as 85th percentile. If we think back to our days of grade school, how well we did on the test, if we're scoring in the 99th percentile, that's really good. In this case, 85th percentile means at least 85% of the cars are going that speed. Not every single car is going that speed, but that's roughly what we're talking about. In this case,
The 85%, they're speeding or they're doing the posted speed limit?
no, sir. So the speed that's being registered, 85% of cars are going
5
That's-
miles an hour above.
it.
approximately. In this case, Van Deventer was 33 and Cunningham was 35, with max speeds of 45 on Cunningham and 48 on Van Deventer. We've discussed it a few times with both administration, police, and even had interactions with the community, with some of the residents and some of our local police about the issue, and everyone's pretty much in agreement that something needs to be done outside of just normal enforcement, that some kind of permanent fixture needs to be put in place. What we are requesting tonight with this variance would allow us to continue in the process of the petition. With the next step would be the neighborhood petition, where we look at the street, we come up with what we call an impact area. That would allow us to basically give all the names and addresses of all the residents that would be impacted if we did put speed humps, whatever device. They are required to get, I believe it's 80% of that petition, and then that would move into the final design of the traffic calming devices and eventually the installation. With that, I will take any questions, as I'm sure there will be plenty.
For the purpose of discussion, I'll entertain a motion to receive.
So moved.
Second.
Floor is open.
You said the minimum threshold was 300, what's the units there?
300 vehicles per day. So basically 300 cars passing by a singular point.
Can you tell me what the recorded were?
Yes, sir. So for Van Deventer, it was 85, and for Cunningham, it was 154. And this is basically an average measurement across every day. So you may get on Monday, 400 cars. On Tuesday, they were out of school, 0 cars. It averages out to 200 roughly.
On the information I have in my packet, it does not show, and maybe I pulled the wrong slide, but I don't think I have. Mr. Booker just showed me what he's got on his phone, but mine does not show any placement of any speed humps, stop signs that we're,
So currently, we're not proposing any placements. What was provided, and I believe it was provided, was basically the approximate locations we would look at. So currently, based off the criteria outlined in the policy, there's certain distance requirements that we have to either can't have speed humps too close together, can't have them too far away from each other, near intersections, stop signs, other criteria. The locations shown are very approximate preliminary.
okay, but I don't have any showing on my slide.
Mine is.
Mine is
Yeah.
What are y'all pulling up? This one, Mr. Airwood?
petition preliminary layout.
Do you have that aerial?
Yeah.
And do you see the
The
blue?
light blue.
I've got it now.
Why
So-
would there not, I know you said these are just possibilities, but why would there not be a speed hump further up on Cunningham?
So part of that is driveway placement, especially with the school and some of their traffic demands with buses and car, everything like that. The intersection with Wade Hampton deems it to be a little bit further than the other two. But as I said, this is all very preliminary. The final designs would possibly indicate another. But that would have to be evaluated at a later time.
So so now that we kind of understand this is a variance, and so we're only looking at the speed bump aspect. So like some of the feedback I got over the past few months were potentially adding stop signs. That wouldn't be discussed at this point, right?
So currently, the ordinance only dictates placement of speed humps. And that is because placement of additional stop signs is basically a larger threshold that could possibly introduce additional legal liability for the city. As typically, stop signs are not considered traffic calming devices. As more of a traffic management device. It's half a dozen either way you put it, but technically there is a threshold, and that would require a larger scale study be done. That's certainly something we could look at in the future, but as part of this petition, likely not.
And the reason I bring, oh, I'm sorry. And the reason I bring it up, I see some of the community members in here.
Sure.
And it's good for us to talk through this so
Absolutely.
they can hear, and just everybody really hear. We're looking at traffic calming versus traffic management. And so this is a variance on the traffic calming devices via speed bumps.
To clarify further what you're talking about as far as the actual placement, the reason why we're not able to even talk about that is because as the process moves forward, if I remember correctly, as the process would move forward, part of the placement is dictated by agreement from the homeowners in the area. Is that right?
So it is a common courtesy that the city goes forth, and we basically, if we're looking to put a speed hump in front of your house, in front of your property, we like to gain your signature and approval of that. Many a times, everyone likes the idea of speed humps on their road. Unfortunately, I don't like the idea of a speed hump in front of my home. So sometimes we'll have to shift them around. Sometimes we'll, amongst many other obstacles such as water valves, sewer manholes, fire hydrants, et cetera, we have to shift them a couple feet either way. Rarely do we see a resident just flat out say, no, I don't want it in front of my house. But that is, yes, something that we will look at.
Did the residents, didn't they already file a petition?
So
This is what this is. This is a variance to that petition,
Okay.
right?
That's right. But he was just saying that then you got to go in the community and take a survey of the people and make sure they've signed it, or make sure they're, but we've already crossed that. We've already done that.
So, kinda. It's a step one, step two of the policy. So step one is the initial traffic calming petition. That is only requiring 5 signatures. And the reason that greater threshold of the larger impact study, or excuse me, larger impact area, and then a larger majority of people is basically so a small minority of residents in a subdivision or area can't dictate the traffic patterns that a community as a whole,
There's
in
a
this case, very
baseline for us to
local.
even do the study, and then based on the results of the study,
Yes.
that dictates, all right, now get more
So
comprehensive
in the
signatures.
case of this one, where the initial criteria did not pass, the petition's dead. And basically, the variance that we are requesting would basically allow the petition to proceed. And that would be into the neighborhood petition that requires a larger amount of signatures.
Well, just to share my thoughts, I know this is something that has come up periodically since I've been on council. I know many of us would echo that. I want to thank our residents for keeping this in front of us and for the video that's been shared with us. And I'll just say, if there's ever a reason for a variance to this particular ordinance, this particular procedure, this seems to be a clear example of a time when a variance would be in order, close to bonds there, and just with the escalating situation of the traffic in the area, specifically on these roads.
Absolutely.
Mr. Buchanan, if I'm not mistaken, we use the standards that are recommended or used by SCDOT for this particular issue, do we not?
I would default to. Yes, sir.
And I think that's important to note, to Mr. Hopper's comments here, we have had a number of issues. I say a number. We have had issues over time that didn't meet one piece of the criteria or another or whatever, and I have always been hesitant to make exceptions to the rules, but I do think this is probably a pretty special case in terms of at least starting the conversation about what may or may not be, may be effective in terms of the speed humps. That's probably one of the easiest ways for us to start out in terms of a calming device and then go from there. And while we're not at the absolute minimum number of trips, we're not significantly off. And again, to your point, I think there's enough special interest in this one that we might want to consider the variance.
You're just asking us to basically approve the next step. It comes back to us before final.
Basically, yes, sir. So
Great, that's great. I mean, I don't see any reason not to go forward, but I would ask, totally, why, but that school's been there forever. Why are we worse today than we were 10 years ago or 20 years ago?
that,
I would just say traffic patterns have just changed, quite frankly. And I think what happens is it's almost, and I'm going to use a response time analogy where, typically you would have a fire station and the response time would be X from that site. However, with development, with road changes, et cetera, the likelihood of a traffic accident increases in another area. So that changes. I think in this particular case, the traffic patterns have changed and the influence of increased traffic on Wade Hampton, the change in time when kids are coming in and out of school, that has made an impact on this. So there's been a number of variables that have created a quality of life issue and, quite frankly, a safety issue for the folks on Cunningham and Vandeventer. And I think that's why we're having this discussion, is we recognize something needs to be done. From a procedural standpoint, I think it's important that we do this procedurally correct.
Sure.
In this particular case, this is a variance on the petition because we recognize it doesn't meet the standards, right? And so I think it's important to do. I will also say that because this has been such a problem for such a while, I also think it's largely perfunctory, because I would say most of the residents in that area on Cunningham and Vandeventer will rush to the petition to sign it, and we're moving on. So the fact of the matter is these things can run concurrently. We can get to a design standpoint where we've got traffic calming measures in place with the understanding that the neighborhood is not going to be adversely affected, and we can get this done fairly quickly because we've been working on it for quite a while. Now, whether or not the traffic calming that's one issue. The traffic management is a second issue. And the traffic management involves the stop signs. I don't know the answer to that, but we do know that we think that the calming device of the humps will make a difference.
I would tell you that this has been a problem for 65 years in that location right there. This is nothing new. But I would say that the traffic patterns have changed, in my opinion, because I do this. The reduction of lanes on Main Street and the speed humps on, what's the street up there? Arlington, caused me to go down that road to go up Pine Street to get to my house, because I don't want to deal with any of that.
Yeah, a couple of things. The traffic.
I don't
yes.
speed when I do it.
When it was Greer High, you had kids coming in the morning, they left in the afternoon. Now you have 4 turnovers. You have in the morning, then when they let out, same thing.
So-
Yeah. Now, the second thing is, I know that this is a variance, but I'm very disappointed in staff, and I want to know what we have to do to light a fire under you guys, because this is not acceptable. I know that in October, they were talking about this. I know that engineering was aware of this. And now all we're doing is starting over. Listen, I know you guys are engineers, but let's don't analyze this thing to death. you should have come tonight with a proposal and the variance, but no, nothing. I mean, we're debating on whether it's a variance or not. Somebody needs to get on the stick and knock this thing out, one way or the other.
Mr. Ayers,
Mr.
there has
Airwood, I
been.
would-
Go ahead, Mayor.
I would take a different point of view on this in as much as if the variance doesn't pass, the time would have been wasted in doing the process. Now that we've come to a vote on the variance, they can move forward in this two-step process. So I don't
Well, how
know
long
that
is
it's
it going to
fair.
take them? How long is it going to take them to design this?
Mr. Airwood, we have attempted to work with the school district. We've attempted enforcement.
Well, we
We've
know
intent-
the school district is going to be the school district. We own the roads, we can do what we need to do. I got that. I've been out there 2 or 3 times and watched. It's something's got to be done besides us shuffling paperwork.
So, to partially answer your question, sir, the design is basically done. That we know the approximate locations as soon as residents get us that everyone, roughly a majority, let me clarify, of the residents impacted directly by the speed humps on these streets, we can proceed to contact the residents that we believe the approximate locations would be at. Just full clarity, some of those have already been marked as we talk today. Once I can do that, then we can proceed with notice to public services, order the asphalt, and schedule the crews, get them down. But the variance tonight is critical in the point of being able to move forward in doing that.
I understand that, and I understand that you could have come with a proposal.
Then that's my fault,
attached
Mr.
to it.
Airwood. That's my fault. It's not staff's fault. This is my fault.
Okay, well,
That's on me.
let's just make it happen.
Yep.
Well, but this is what the ordinance says the steps we're supposed to take, correct?
Been working on it too long.
Yes, sir. Agreed.
Any additional information in regard to
I
that?
believe that's everything I have to say, sir.
Move to previous question.
Thank you, sir. Got a motion and a second. Call for a variance on the traffic calming petition for Cunningham and Van Devender. Ms. Duncan?
Mr. Airwood,
Yes.
Mr. Booker,
Yes.
Mr. Hopper,
Yes.
Mr. Lander,
Yes.
Mr. Bettis,
Yes.
Mr. Lamb,
Yes.
Mayor Danner.
Yes.
Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. First and final reading of resolution number First and final reading of Resolution 2-2026 is a resolution adopting the City of Greer Annual Safety Statement. Ms. Woodruff joins us for that discussion. Floor is yours, ma'am.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Before you have a resolution that we come with in hand annually, just affirming Council's resolution to safety throughout the city.
This entails a recommendation for the acceptance, I assume. With that, then, I'll entertain a motion to receive
So moved.
Second.
and a second. Floor is open for discussion. Hearing none, Ms. Duncan?
Mr. Airwood,
Yes.
Mr. Booker,
Yes.
Mr. Hopper,
Yes.
Mr. Lander,
Yes.
Mr. Bettis,
Yes.
Mr. Lamb,
Yes.
Mayor Danner.
Yes. First and final reading of Resolution 3-2026. This is a resolution to update the City of Greer blood-borne pathogen standard to comply with the Occupational Safety and Health Administration requirements. Ms. Woodruff?
Again, this is something we bring to you every year. There has been no changes, and we ask that you approve the resolution before you.
Comes with a recommendation for staff. I'll entertain a motion to receive
So moved.
Second.
and a second. Floor is open for discussion. Hearing none, Ms. Duncan?
Mr. Airwood,
Yes.
Mr. Booker,
Yes.
Mr. Hopper,
Yes.
Mr. Lander,
Yes.
Mr. Bettis,
Yes.
Mr. Lamb,
Yes.
Mayor Danner.
Yes. First and final reading of Resolution 4-2026. This is a resolution approving opioid state settlement funding distribution in compliance with the South Carolina Opioid Recovery Act, South Carolina Code 115810. Ms. Woodruff.
This evening, you have a application from Clemson University. They're strengthening recovery systems and needs assessment of opioid use, mental health, and housing services. I have Amanda Stover here that will be able to answer any questions. Just as a brief overview, you do have the money to fund this if you so choose, and it would leave you a remaining balance of around $50,000 in that fund.
The amount was how much? Do we have left?
Yes, it is $248.86.
Leaving us a balance of about 50,000, Mr. Mayor.
For the purpose of discussion, I'll entertain a motion to receive. So moved. And a second.
Second.
For the purpose of discussion, Ms. Silverman?
Stover.
Stover joins us for this discussion. Council, questions?
Are you requesting similar funds from other municipalities?
We've adjusted funds based on what is available, so I intentionally tried to go slightly under budget as best we could. I've proposed something similar with the City of Clemson. They had a budget that was far less, so we requested about $150,000, but we cut off a big portion of what we proposed here. So we're only looking at overdose rates. We are not addressing mental health, unhoused populations, or a more thorough assessment of opioid use in requirements with the scoreboard's regulations.
So have you requested money from other than Clemson and Greer?
No, I have not, no.
Is this the last request you will make
Yes, this is.
from any municipality?
Yes, unless I would be approached by somebody else, I might entertain that request. But for this year, no, I will not be making another request.
Mr. Bettis, just to give you a little background, you are aware, I hope you are, that first of all, we have what appears to be a large population of homeless. And we've started trying to have, how can we address it? And we have, you either use a shotgun approach or you is addressing homelessness, or you try to figure out how many homeless you have and what's the issue. It looks like what they're going to do is come in and you will do surveys of the homeless, which one gives us the count. They will talk to the folks based on, now from what I've read about their proposal, is that they're going to look at the individuals with opioid use, and then it also says use disorders that are residing here in Greer. And then there's a lot of other information that they wind up gleaning from this, and it's not just a one-time count, correct?
No.
They're coming back, meeting with some of these individuals. They incentivize the individuals to come for more, I guess, more in-depth conversation so they can glean more and more information. Because and I'm the one, I reached out and said, well, I talked to Katrina and said, I think this might be beneficial for the city, that if they come in and gather some of this information, because now remember, although there's counts been done, nobody's ever counted Greer. Greenville County does theirs, Spartanburg County does theirs. And if you read the studies, they say, well, it's probably an undercount anyway. I think this, as far as the dollars that we would be awarding, will go a lot further, try to help with the issue than the dollars we've awarded in the past, where, they want to teach people how to be a family. But there are several folks involved in this whole, I guess, process, correct? How many individuals would there be working on this?
So the way this is structured is we're taking the three main people will be myself, Dr. Ketri, and Dr. Zenzao. We will then employ a project manager so that we can have, a realistic ability to talk to as many people as possible, as well as incorporating some of our graduate students in our doctoral and master's programs. So you're looking at a team of about 5 to 6 people.
Where will you operate out of?
So we're at Clemson, but we will actually come to the City of Greer to do this. So we'll
Where?
work, well, and that's part of what the initial plan would be, is that we'll talk to people who provide services predominantly to your unhoused population, provide mental health services, provide medical services, provide things like, food, access to food and different services, and see if they will allow us to talk to people when they're there. And then that was, the second portion is to speak with you if there is a place that we can actually, maybe hold interviews that you think is ideal and that we will actually be gauging your needs.
How will this find out how many homeless there are in Greer?
So that will be incorporated in part using some of the resources that Dr. Ketri had shared with you previously and connecting with people who do the actual homelessness counting and adopting that procedure as well. One of the things that this is meant to do is set up something called community asset mapping, which would happen after we collect the initial pool of data. And it can give you a map of how services run and roughly where people are setting up camps, where people are going for services, where they might be sort of settling, and then help you to further extend that and set up a consistent system. And this is all based off of work that I've done in West Virginia, as well as the expertise of Dr. Zenzao and Dr. Ketri.
Others?
Can you talk a little more about the deliverable? Is this a one-year project or?
So we've given you the one-year project, and also I, briefly described that I look at this as something that would be longitudinal. We don't want to do a one shot and then just, here you go. So the initial deliverables would be to give you our evidence-based findings based on interviews with community staff and community members, as well as unhoused people who are specifically living in Greer. And then we can decide based on the final reports, using a community approach, how do we proceed? Where do we think the strengths of the community are? Are there things that we want to address? And that's how we'd approach either the next SCORF application or potential other funding mechanisms.
Yeah, I'm not a stranger to the unhoused because Daily Bread Ministries, which is basically like a soup kitchen, is in my backyard of, my mother-in-law and my house as well. And so I see a lot of the interactions that happen along that corridor. Curious, had some folks reach out once they heard about this item being on the agenda, of community members that are passionate around homelessness and mental health. Is there a way for them to connect with you all if they want to share or volunteer or whatever the case may be?
Absolutely. And that would be one of the first, if you looked at the trajectory and when we plan to have meetings, the ideal is not to overwhelm you, but also to make sure that you are an active part of this process. This is your community. We want to find out what's happening in your community and then help you determine what we can do differently. Not just, oh, you're not doing this right, but you're doing this really well. How can we make it better? But yes, absolutely, we'd be open to that. And that would be the first item of agenda when we, invite some of you to come to the first kickoff meeting is who do we need to be contacting? And how can we help them spread the word and get more people involved?
Yeah, just somehow keep me posted personally, at least, so I can pass your information or the information on to the people that are asking.
Yeah, absolutely.
Others?
Well, okay, tell me where I'm wrong. If I wanted an inventory, if I wanted to know how many homeless people there were in the city of Greer, I'd ask the police department, public services, and the fire department, and I'd bet you they could come up with a pretty good number in a week or so. Now, tell me where I'm wrong.
It's not how many, but.
Well, that's what we.
But this also is they will find out why they're homeless, whether it's opioids or other drug abuse, whether it's mental health, or whether it's some kind of catastrophic event that happened in their lives. And just with that information, then you know how to approach the problem.
And some of it will also, just to add to your point, focus on how did they get here? They might not all be from the city of Greer, right? They could be coming from other places. And to your earlier point, you're right. There's not good data on Greer itself. Because as part of the proposal, I did have to say what my target area is and why we're proposing this. And there's a lot of information for Greenville and areas surrounding Greer, and those numbers are rising. So this will also help us see what that sort of fluctuation looks like, more so than just counting.
Okay.
But we will also involve the fire department and the police department.
One of the things that we have found out is that, to her point, the continuum of care counts that occur at least annually. One of the things that we found out was that they are focused more on Spartanburg and Greenville without really the surrounding areas. And when we were trying to drill a little deeper on this subject, there was no real answer about why Greer hadn't been included in those counts, and it boiled down to, well, you're divided into two counties. It's tough to do that. We'd have to bring teams from both sides. But one of the things that we did find out was that, to your point, our police department were quick to jump in and offer their assistance because, indeed, they knew where the camps were. They knew a lot of the folks that are residents here, and they also know some of the folks that are just passing through. So I think it's a collaborative effort in terms of what we get for it.
On that too, one of the things that the police department, they have an individual that will work directly with folks like that, whether it's mental illness or homelessness. And one of the folks we were meeting with said, well, this is the steps that if you take someone in to be evaluated, this is what happens. And, I guess that was what's listed on the paper is what's supposed to happen. And our PD's saying, that's not what happens. I believe one of the instances is the officer went in with this person. They were there 2 hours. They were waiting on the individual that the state, I think, provides to come out. When that person arrived, the hospital had already released that individual. And so we don't have, maybe there's not good cooperation, maybe there's I don't know. And I will say this is nothing more than a jumping off point. To me, you've got to find out what you're dealing with. And I don't think that, and I've said this plenty of times, our city don't have the resources to deal with it. This is a problem that we have to engage all the way from the federal government all the way down through our nonprofits being healthcare systems, a whole 9 yards. But we have, on a weekly basis, almost, we have, the fire department will tell you, we have fire started. We've had homicides. We've had people who I'm not a doctor of psychiatry, but if someone says, I'm not going inside in temperatures like we're having now, they're a danger to themselves. And we've had 2 individuals that died in the same spots. It was just like that. So there's a lot of variables out there that if you're going to come up with a plan, we've got to find out what those variables are. And I thought this would be a good method.
Yeah, and Jane, to your point, some of the folks that I see, I'm interested to see what this study renders. Some are young, some are older, some are men, some are women, some clearly have mental issues, and some look like regular individuals. So I'm curious to see exactly what is the outcome of your study.
Yeah. And to your point, that also will help us understand there might be resources that you have access to that you just don't know. And we can't find out what those might be if we don't know what the problem is.
Okay, final thoughts, council.
The three principals you have listed here, Stover, Ketry, and Zenzow, what are their qualifications for this?
So I'm Amanda Stover. I have a PhD in health services and outcomes research. I was trained in Appalachian, West Virginia. I have done work with community partners to assess follow-up after overdose, particularly among a variation of populations. So my PhD is predominantly in public health with a focus in opioid use disorder and suicide prevention. Dr. Ketry has a massive background in public safety. Her and Dr. Zenzow both are in the sort of intimate partner violence and violence prevention realm. Dr. Zenzow is a clinical psychologist and a full professor at Clemson University in the psychology department. She also co-runs the Center for Addiction, Mental Health Research. And Dr. Ketry is in, I always screw up the name of her department, I apologize, but she's in sociology.
So you're all three Clemson professors,
We are,
but none of you are medical doctors.
no. We do have collaborators that are medical doctors, though.
Again, final thoughts.
Well, I hope you prove me wrong, but I think we're gonna buy a long document that not gonna do much, but I hope I'm wrong.
I hope so too. I hope that we can
Hope I'm
find
wrong.
out some really good information and work toward, creating a community engaged initiative. That is my hope.
Okay.
Let's be clear as well, too. These are funds that are we access from the state as part of a settlement. So these funds are, for lack of a better word, a special fund that has to be used in a very limited manner. And so, as you have seen, we have had several requests. We have not been proactive in the past as much as we should have been, maybe about advertising that. And so now that we are beginning to disperse some of these funds, I suspect that there will be others that may have an interest in this. This is not a real wide-ranging kind of project. It's very narrow in its scope and desire, and so there's about 2 more years, I believe, that we'll be receiving these funds. Is that close, I think?
No, we would be receiving it over an 18-year period, but we have already received almost half of our allocation
Half of our
in a
allocation.
very short time. So $2 million is what Greer would receive over the lifetime of that 20 years.
Okay, all right. Well, nevertheless, it's a limited amount of money. With that then, final questions. Ms. Duncan?
Mr. Arrowood,
Yes.
Mr. Booker,
Yes.
Mr. Hopper,
Yes.
Mr. Lander,
Yes.
Mr. Bettis,
No.
Mr. Lamb,
No.
Mayor Danner.
Yes. Council, thank you, ma'am. We appreciate the information.
Thank you, council.
Mr. Buchanan comes back up to join us for the first and final reading of Resolution 5-2026. This is a resolution to accept Dillard Creek Village subdivision streets, namely Kinbrace Court, Glenbutt Lane, and the City of Greer street system. Mr. Buchanan, floor is yours.
Thank you once again, Mayor, and good evening once again, Council. So as the mayor stated, this is the Dillard Creek Villages. The project started in February 2022. This is located off Abner Creek, approximately 950 feet from the intersection of Abner Creek Road and Westmoreland Road. This resides in Council District 3. All utilities are installed. The streets are paved. All housing construction is completed with 112 of 112 townhomes built. Staff has inspected the construction and believes it meets the city standards. Therefore, staff recommends Kim Brace Court with a length of, 1,050 feet, and Glen Livet Lane with a length of 850 feet be accepted into the street system for ownership and maintenance. I do want to add one small note. There is a third road in Diller Creek Villages, but it has been designed and will stay private, and that is Cambridge Court. With that, I will answer any questions you may have.
You said it will remain private?
Yes, sir, that third road.
All right. For the purpose of discussion, I'll entertain a motion to receive.
So moved. Second.
Motion and a second. Floor is open for discussion. Comments or questions?
I noticed our aerial view is quite undeveloped. We don't have anything newer than that.
So unfortunately, due to some of the limitations that our GIS systems have, including just how, how often the planes and satellites fly over, and our partners that serve our GIS system give us the data, that is the most recent.
Hope we're not paying them for that service.
I will add, if you're looking for a more idea of what the subdivision looks like today, I believe the two pages of the final plat are in your packet. That's a more 2D kind of look, but that is what the subdivision appears.
Thank you, sir. Others? Hearing none, Ms. Duncan?
Mr. Arrowood,
Yes.
Mr. Booker,
Yes.
Mr. Hopper,
Yes.
Mr. Lander,
Yes.
Mr. Bettis,
Yes.
Mr. Lamb,
Yes.
Mayor Danner.
Yes.
Thank you all once
Council,
again.
thank you, sir. Council, we have no items in executive session this evening.